So we're in Carmel for the Pebble Beach weekend. So I'm in an Alfa 4C. I'm not just in the normal Alfa 4C, this is the just released Spider. Now, we did drive the Alfa 4C before. We drove the coupe last year for our feature film, Mid-Engines and Mountains. You may have seen that. We put it up against its major competitors, the Porsche Cayman and the Lotus Elise. And this is right in the middle between the two. It has some of the features of both.
It's good to be back in this Alfa. You know, I honestly forgot how connected this car is. For right around $72,000. For that kind of money, it's not inexpensive, but what you're getting is this delight, this driving experience.
You know, I'm not a convertible guy, but I actually think this Spider version is maybe the better version of this car.
Because it's a carbon fiber chassis, you can flex and wiggle, you don't get that. The trade-off for having the open top, this Targa top, is visibility is actually better.
The rear glass has become straight up and down instead of angled. Now in the coupe, it's actually kind of hard to see out of the rear glass because you get a reflection of the engine cover. And believe it or not, in the Spider with this flat back glass, it's significantly better. Switch down here into dynamic mode on the DNA system. In dynamic mode with your foot down, it's actually, the transmission feels okay. It's not fantastic, but it feels pretty good. When you're in normal mode and you're creeping through traffic, the transmission gets itself a little bit confused about exactly how it should operate, but that's being picky in a car like this.
I forgot about the thrust of this car. I just forgot. It's so light. Oh, there it is. It's got such Elise and Evora behaviors, and it is that recipe. It's just more of everything because it's got the power.
You've got a mural on the back of your Astro van. Can you please let me by? Seriously? This is the way you're going through the world? There we go. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Let's go for a run. About 240 turbocharged horsepower from its tiny little engine. It is faster than the Elise, and here's the thing, it's got that turbo punch, especially right in the meaty mid part of the gas pedal. You know, 2,500 to 5,500 range, pulls like crazy because it's a tiny little turboed within an inch of its life, 4-cylinder engine.
You know, one of my favorite things about this car is that the noise matches what you're doing. There's so many cars that we talk about nowadays where you got to take the plugs out or the manufacturer has boosted the sound some way. This car is so raw and pure that the sound matches what you're doing. Everything, and now with the top down, the wind, the noise, everything matches the rush. The way this recipe is now, it's matching everything you're doing with the way the car handles. The sensations of everything else around you are not muted. They match.
At low speeds, definitely easier to drive this than the Elise, but at high speeds, it's less communicative, and the steering is surprisingly light.
The weight of the steering is nothing at this speed, but you're still getting quite a bit of interesting dynamics.
Now, on a day like this, on a road like this, are you going to drive hard enough that you care? Probably not. But if I'm going to compare this to sports cars that it's like and sports cars that I love, then I have to talk about it in relation to that Elise steering, and it's just not quite as good.
I'm remembering all those things about it that are tricky in the sense of it doesn't feel forgiving coming in hot into a corner. It feels like it's going to not get out of control, but bite you at any point if you screw up, because it's waiting for you to impress it. But it just gives you that exponential return on it when you do get things right.
This is a sports car I want to drive at 8, 9 tenths. I don't really want to find the edge because it's not forgiving, but with the top down on a great road, there's a lot of information here that makes this intriguing, just not a ton of information that makes it scalpel precise.
And the way the recipe is now, I would take this car in this configuration. And you know, to use Todd's analogies, this is definitely like seeing an old girlfriend and she's even hotter than you remembered her. And I'm reminded again of that very same feeling. I mean, you get perfect weather like this. This car was designed for this road. They're just one and the same. Losing the top on this car has made its job even more specific. It's even more focused on sunny days, curvy roads, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, yes, there are quirks and difficulties and struggles at times, but you get to go out with a supermodel, and when the two of you are clicking, you really, really want to take her home. That's the Alfa 4C. It's just got that exotic attraction about it. I mean, people have been looking at me from behind the wheel of things like Lamborghini Huracans. They're looking at this car. I mean, that says a lot about how sexy and beguiling this car can be.
Make sure you're subscribed. We have a new video every Thursday.